All right, let's dive in. Today, we're all about leveling up in the real world. We're taking a deep dive into Mitch Jackson's power removes. It's, battle-tested strategies from the business trenches.
Now, you might think, "Ugh, another business book, right?"
Right.
But this one's different. Mitch Jackson cuts through all the theory,
Yeah.
all that should work stuff. This is all about what does work.
And it comes from someone who's been in the thick of it.
Oh, yeah. 30 plus years as a lawyer, mediator, consultant.
He's seen it all.
This book's like his no-nonsense guide to getting things done.
And I think one of the things that makes this book so unique, so helpful, is how Mitch frames it. He's not giving you a step-by-step. It's not like, do this, then do that, and boom, you're successful.
Right.
It's more like he's giving you a compass,
Yeah.
guiding you to what you need to find your own path.
Yeah, I love that analogy. It's a compass, not a set of rigid instructions.
And the way the book's organized, it's alphabetical. So you can jump right to the section you need. Say you're struggling with initiation, bam, there it is. Or feeling a lack of confidence. There's a whole section on that.
Oh, that's smart. Like a quick reference guide for those real-life business moments.
Exactly. So, okay, where does Mitch start? Like, what's the foundation?
He kicks it off with the abundance mindset. Now, you've probably heard this before. Think positive, all that.
Right. Think positive, and magically everything's great.
Yeah, exactly. But Mitch doesn't just tell you to think positive. He shows you how to rewire your thinking, to see possibilities, not limitations.
So it's not just a fluffy feel-good concept.
Oh, no, not at all. He's got a story, actually, about how early in his career he almost missed a huge opportunity because he was focused on what he lacked, not what he could offer.
I bet that's relatable to a lot of people, thinking about, I don't have this, I don't have that, instead of, hey, I'm good at this, I can bring that to the table.
Exactly. That shift from scarcity to possibility, that's what he's talking about.
So how do you actually make that shift? It can't be easy to just suddenly think differently.
And that's where the action comes in. Mitch is big on this. Action is the antidote to fear, he says.
Okay, I like that. It's like stop overthinking it and just do something.
Yeah. Get out of your head and into the world.
And it doesn't have to be some massive leap.
Right.
Just a small step.
That's all it takes. Just consistent, deliberate movement. Keep moving towards your goal, even if it's just inch by inch.
So how does this play out in the book? Does he give you specific steps or?
Well, he gives you exercises, prompts, to help you get unstuck and start moving. But he's also got this great line, don't wait for perfect plans. Perfect plans are the enemy of any action.
Oh, that's so true. You can spend forever planning and never actually do anything.
Exactly. And that's something I think our learners will really appreciate. It's about taking what you learn and applying it, not just, sitting there passively absorbing it.
Right. Get out there and make things happen. And that brings us to failure because, let's face it, not every action is going to be a home run.
Yeah.
But Mitch, he doesn't shy away from failure.
No, he doesn't. He actually sees it as like a pit stop, not the end of the race.
A pit stop. That's a good way to put it.
He actually wants you to embrace failure as, as an opportunity to learn, a chance to reflect, adjust, get back on track.
So it's not, oh no, I failed, I'm a failure. It's more like, okay, what happened? What can I learn from this? How can I do it better next time?
Exactly. And that kind of leads us to another area Mitch talks about, which is advice.
Advice, yeah. Something we all struggle with.
He's got this line, we've all been there, nodding along and then completely ignoring every suggestion.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like you ask for advice, but you've already decided what you're going to do anyway.
Right. So he gives you this framework for handling it better, based on respect, transparency, like be upfront about what kind of advice you're actually looking for. Are you really open to different perspectives, or are you just looking for validation?
That's huge. That self-awareness. Knowing what you actually want from the advice-giving situation.
Yeah, and if you decide not to take the advice, at least explain why.
Oh.
Respectfully, of course.
It's about valuing the relationship, not just getting a quick fix.
Exactly.
And speaking of relationships, Mitch has some pretty eye-opening things to say about backstabbing.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't hold back there. And it's not just about being a good person, which, that's important, but he's talking about protecting your reputation.
Your reputation, that's everything in business.
Absolutely. He says it's your most valuable asset.
And I can see how easily it can be damaged.
He's got some pretty wild stories from his lawyer days,
Yeah.
showing how quickly trust can be broken, reputations, just tarnished.
It's a reminder that in the long run, integrity really matters. And it's not just about not harming others. It's about actively building that reputation for honesty, for being someone people want to work with, not just someone they have to work with.
That's the difference, right? People will go the extra mile for someone they trust and respect.
Absolutely. Now, something that might surprise people about this book is how much Mitch talks about AI.
Yeah, AI is kind of woven throughout.
He sees it as a game changer.
Totally.
And get this, he actually used AI to help write the book.
Wait, what? Really?
I know, right? Writing a book about timeless business principles using cutting-edge tech.
That's kind of meta, isn't it?
It really is, but I think it shows what this book is all about. Blending that timeless wisdom with the tools of today to achieve success in the future.
It's like, don't be afraid of the tech. Embrace it. Use it to your advantage.
And he doesn't just talk about it theoretically. He uses AI in his own work all the time.
Right. He gives examples, how AI can be used in all sorts of fields to streamline things, gather information, even boost creativity.
And this is for everyone, not just tech geniuses.
Right. No matter your skill level, there's something in there for you.
Now, there's this one concept that really caught my attention. Anchor points, he calls them. What's the deal with that?
Okay, so this comes from his trial lawyer background. He noticed that certain spots in the courtroom, they just influenced how the jury received his message.
Really? Just where he was standing?
Yeah. He calls these anchor points, and he says they're everywhere. Boardrooms, presentations, even online meetings.
So where you stand, how you position yourself on screen, it actually matters.
Big time. And he gives specific tips, like for presentations, stand in a position of authority. In meetings, make sure you've got good eye contact with the key decision makers.
Wow. So it's like a subtle but powerful way to influence the room. It's like having a secret weapon. And then something that I think often gets lost in the hustle and bustle of business is appreciation. Mitch actually has a whole section on this. Giving and receiving appreciation.
Oh, yeah. That's so important, but so easy to forget.
We get so caught up in deadlines and to-do lists that we forget to acknowledge each other.
And it's not just saying thank you. It's being specific, acknowledging the impact someone had.
Right. Hey, I really appreciate how you handled that tricky client. It made my life so much easier. Something like that.
Exactly. And he encourages you to make it a habit, not just at work, but in your personal life, too.
It's a mindset, really, seeing the good and appreciating it.
He even suggests keeping a gratitude journal. Write down 3 wins each day, even small ones, just to shift your perspective.
That's a great idea. Now, something else that really stood out to me was Mitch's emphasis on bold thinking.
Yeah, he's a big believer in pushing beyond your comfort zone.
And he doesn't just tell you to be bold. He gives you a framework for making bold decisions, weighing the risks, the rewards.
Making sure those choices align with your goals, your values.
So it's calculated risk-taking.
Yeah.
Not just jumping off a cliff blindly.
Exactly.
Thinking back to what we were talking about earlier, the abundance mindset,
Yeah.
it seems like boldness goes hand in hand with that. Seeing possibilities instead of being limited by fear.
Totally. It's like if you believe in abundance, you're more likely to take those bold steps. Because you know that even if things don't work out exactly as planned, there's always another opportunity around the corner.
And that's what I love about this book. It's not just about business tactics. It's about a whole way of thinking, a way of approaching life. It's about empowering yourself to create the life you want on your own terms.
It's about, trusting that the universe has your back.
Yeah, having that faith that things will work out, even if it's not in a way you originally envisioned.
Another thing Mitch talks about that kind of goes along with this whole mindset shift is the importance of a positive attitude.
Oh, yeah. But he's not talking about that, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Toxic positivity stuff, right?
Right. No, he's talking about that resilient spirit, the kind that helps you bounce back from setbacks.
The kind that helps you see the opportunity, even when things are tough.
Exactly. He calls it the "what can I learn from this" mindset.
Okay, I like that. It's about turning challenges into chances to learn and grow.
And it's not always easy, but the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes.
It becomes a habit. Like, instead of getting stuck in the negative, you automatically start looking for the lesson, the takeaway.
Right. And you know what? It actually works. When you consciously choose to look for the good, you usually find it, even in the most unexpected places.
It's like training your brain to see the world differently.
Totally. Now, this is a little bit different, but Mitch also gives some great advice on how to share your accomplishments without sounding like a braggart.
Oh, that's a tricky one. You want people to know about your wins, but you don't want to come across as arrogant, right?
Right. It's a delicate balance.
So what's the secret?
Mitch's approach is to focus on the value you provided. not just, tooting your own horn. So instead of saying, look how amazing I am, it's more like, here's how what I did helped the team achieve X.
Yeah, it's about shifting the focus from me to we.
Exactly. And sometimes the best way to promote yourself is to just, well, to let your work speak for itself.
Let the results, the testimonials, the happy clients do the talking.
Right. Actions speak louder than words, as they say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of actions, Mitch is a big believer in taking breaks.
Breaks. Yeah, I was surprised by that too.
He sees them as essential, not optional. It's about prioritizing well-being for sustained success.
So it's not just about pushing yourself to the limit all the time.
Nope, it's about recognizing that we need time to recharge.
To disconnect, to come back even stronger.
He even suggests scheduling breaks into your calendar, like you would any other important meeting.
Make self-care a non-negotiable.
Now, one of the things that really resonated with me was Mitch's discussion of character. It's not something you hear about a lot in business books, but he frames it as a foundation for everything else.
He's got this idea of a character journal, where you track your actions, your decisions, and you reflect on how they align with your values.
Wow, that's powerful. It's like holding yourself accountable, not just to others, but to yourself.
Right. And he connects this to the importance of clear communication, being precise, intentional with your words.
That makes sense. Your communication reflects your character.
Exactly. If you're sloppy with your words, people might assume you're sloppy with your actions too.
And then there's confidence, which is, well, it's kind of a buzzword these days. But Mitch breaks it down in a way that feels really grounded.
He's not talking about that, that over-the-top swagger.
Yeah, the kind that can come across as arrogance.
Right, he's talking about that quiet inner confidence, the kind that comes from knowing your worth.
And trusting your abilities.
Exactly. And he even suggests practicing power poses to boost your confidence levels. That idea that your physical state can actually influence your mental state.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that. It's like tricking your brain into feeling more powerful.
Right. But it's not just about projecting confidence. He also talks about the importance of reading other people.
Okay, so it's a two-way street.
Totally. He gives tips on understanding body language, deciphering those subtle cues.
That's a skill that can be so valuable in any interaction.
Especially in negotiations or, high-stakes meetings.
And I think it ties back to that self-awareness we were talking about earlier. The more you understand yourself, the better you can understand others.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mitch also talks about the illusion of control, recognizing that we can't control everything.
Which can be frustrating, right?
Yeah, especially for people who like to be in charge. But he emphasizes the importance of letting go of what you can't influence, focusing your energy on what you can control.
It's like choosing your battles.
Right. And sometimes the best thing you can do is just, surrender to the flow of things. It's not about being passive, it's about being strategic.
Now, something that really resonated with me was Mitch's emphasis on curiosity.
Oh, yeah. He's a big believer in the power of asking questions.
And not just any questions. The right questions. The kind that unlock insights, perspectives. The kind that open doors to new possibilities.
He talks about how curiosity is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
The more you ask questions, the more you learn, the more you grow.
Exactly. And he connects this to the importance of delegation, being willing to let go of control and empower others.
It's about recognizing that you can't do everything yourself, and that sometimes the best way to get things done is to trust others to do them.
And that can be really hard for some people, especially those who are used to being in control. But it's an essential skill for anyone who wants to scale their business or, just have a less stressful life.
And that brings us to discipline, which I think is something that a lot of people struggle with.
Oh, yeah. We all have those days where we just don't feel like doing the work.
But Mitch reminds us that discipline is the bridge between good intentions and real results.
It's about showing up consistently, even when you don't feel like it.
And making those daily choices that support your long-term goals.
He gives practical tips, too, like setting clear goals, establishing routines, and celebrating those small wins along the way.
Now let's talk about something that can be a bit tricky. Handling drama and difficult emotions, both your own and those of other people.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one, especially in the workplace.
Mitch talks about the importance of emotional intelligence, being able to read the room, understand the dynamics at play.
and respond in a way that de-escalates conflict and fosters connection.
He even gives specific tips on how to handle difficult conversations, how to set boundaries.
How to protect your own emotional well-being when things get heated.
It's like having a toolkit for navigating those tricky interpersonal situations.
Right. And he emphasizes that it's not about suppressing your emotions, it's about managing them effectively.
Recognizing that emotions are a natural part of the human experience, but they don't have to control us.
Exactly. He also stresses the importance of empathy, being able to understand and appreciate the perspectives of others.
It's not about agreeing with them necessarily. It's about making an effort to see the world through their eyes.
And that can be really challenging, especially when you're dealing with someone who has a very different viewpoint than you do.
But it's so important for building strong relationships, both personally and professionally.
Yeah.
Because when you understand where someone is coming from, you're more likely to find common ground, even if you don't agree on everything.
Right. And Mitch also talks about the importance of emotional intelligence, or EQ, as he calls it.
EQ, yeah, I've heard that term before. It's like your ability to understand and manage emotions.
Exactly. And he argues that EQ is often more important than IQ when it comes to success.
Especially in leadership roles.
Right. Because if you can't understand and connect with people, it doesn't matter how smart you are.
And he gives tips on how to improve your EQ. Things like practicing mindfulness, seeking feedback from trusted sources, and just being more aware of your own emotions and the impact they have on others.
He even gives specific tips on using eye contact effectively.
Oh, that's a big one. Eye contact can be so powerful, but it can also be really intimidating.
Right. He talks about finding that balance, using eye contact to connect with people, convey confidence.
Without making them feel uncomfortable.
Exactly. He suggests practicing with friends, just holding their gaze a little longer than feels natural.
Just to get used to it. Now, this is an interesting one. Mitch talks about phenocracy, turning customers into passionate advocates for your brand.
It's like going beyond just satisfied customers.
It's about creating a community of people who love what you do and who actively share that love with others.
Right. And it's not about marketing tricks or manipulation.
It's about building genuine relationships based on shared values, trust, mutual benefit.
Authenticity is key.
And Mitch reminds us to keep the main thing. Which sounds simple, but it can be so easy to get sidetracked.
It's about prioritizing your efforts, focusing on the things that truly matter.
And recognizing that you can't do everything.
So you have to choose what to focus on and what to let go of.
Now let's talk about something that can be a bit more internal. Mitch has some really interesting thoughts on forgiveness, framing, and frustration.
Oh yeah, this is a good one. He starts by reminding us that forgiveness is not about condoning hurtful behavior.
Right, it's not about saying what happened was okay.
It's about letting go of the anger, the resentment.
Freeing yourself from the burden of the past.
Exactly. It's a gift you give yourself.
And he talks about the power of framing. Choosing to see situations from a positive and empowering perspective.
Even when things feel really tough.
It's about recognizing that our perspective shapes our reality.
And that by consciously choosing to focus on the positive, we can create a more fulfilling experience.
And he talks about frustration, not as a negative emotion to be avoided, but as a signal that something needs to change.
Like a wake-up call.
He encourages us to view frustration as a call to action.
A prompt to reevaluate our approach, adjust our strategy, or seek out new solutions.
It's like instead of saying, why me, it's saying, what now? What can I do to move forward?
Exactly. And he encourages us to embrace the journey, to find joy in the process.
Not just focus on the end goal.
Right. He even suggests adopting a game mindset, approaching challenges with the same preparation and focus as, as a champion athlete.
That's a great analogy, bringing that same level of dedication and energy to everything you do, but with a sense of playfulness and enjoyment.
Now let's talk about goals. Mitch has a really interesting perspective on this.
Oh, yeah.
He says goals should be a compass, not a cage.
Okay, I like that. So guiding you, but not trapping you.
Exactly. He emphasizes that it's okay to adjust your goals as you learn and grow.
Because sometimes the path you thought you wanted to take isn't the right one for you.
And sometimes the most rewarding experiences come from those unexpected detours. The unplanned adventures.
So it's about being open to possibilities.
Right. And he also highlights the importance of the golden rule, treating others the way you want to be treated.
The golden rule. It sounds so simple, but it can be so hard to actually live by.
But he makes the case that it's not just a moral principle, it's a foundation for building strong relationships.
And for creating a positive and productive work environment.
Exactly. He shares a story from his lawyer days, showing how kindness and respect can actually transform even the most adversarial situations.
Wow, so it's not just about being nice. It's about creating a win-win situation.
Exactly.
Now, shifting gears a bit, Mitch also talks about the dangers of office gossip.
Oh, yeah, gossip can be so toxic.
It erodes trust, creates negativity. It's like a cancer that can spread through an organization.
And he emphasizes the importance of making a strong first impression. Those initial interactions can set the tone for everything that follows.
Right, you only get one chance to make a first impression.
And he gives practical tips, too, on how to present yourself, how to communicate effectively, how to build rapport quickly.
So it's about being intentional, putting your best foot forward.
Exactly.
And he also talks about the importance of setting boundaries, saying no gracefully.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one, especially in today's always-on culture.
It's so easy to get overwhelmed, to say yes to everything. But Mitch reminds us that it's okay to say no.
And that it's actually essential for protecting your time, your energy, your sanity.
And he gives tips on how to do it in a way that's respectful but firm.
So you don't damage relationships.
Now, something that's been coming up throughout our conversation is leadership. And Mitch has some really interesting insights on that. He emphasizes the importance of leading by example.
Walking the talk, as they say.
Right. It's not enough to just tell people what to do. You have to show them how it's done.
And he connects this to the importance of pushing your limits, stepping outside of your comfort zone.
Because growth happens when you challenge yourself.
Exactly. He encourages us to embrace those moments of discomfort as opportunities to learn and expand.
And he also talks about the superpower of listening, which is something we often overlook.
Yeah, we're so quick to talk, to share our own thoughts and opinions.
But Mitch reminds us that listening is a skill, and a powerful one at that.
It's how you learn, how you build relationships, how you gain a deeper understanding of the world around you.
And sometimes the best way to lead is to just shut up and listen.
Let other people share their ideas, their perspectives.
Mitch also has some great insights on branding and marketing.
Oh, yeah. He emphasizes that they need to work together, like two sides of the same coin.
Your brand is your story. Your marketing is how you tell that story.
And he connects this to meeting efficiency, sharing strategies for saying no to those useless meetings that can eat up so much time.
It's about reclaiming your calendar, prioritizing your time.
And he introduces this concept of psycho-cybernetics.
Psycho-cybernetics. What's that?
It's basically the idea that you can reshape your life by changing the mental picture you hold of yourself. Like if you believe you're a successful, confident person, you're more likely to act in ways that support that belief.
So it's self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly.
Now, something that really intrigued me was Mitch's discussion of metaphors. He talks about how they can make complex ideas more tangible and memorable.
Oh, yeah. He uses metaphors all the time in his writing and in his speaking, too. It's like a way to bridge the gap between logic and emotion.
To make ideas more relatable, more engaging. And he connects this to the importance of presence, being fully engaged in each interaction.
Not just physically present, but mentally and emotionally present, too.
It's about showing up authentically, paying attention to the other person, making them feel seen and heard.
And he also talks about newsjacking.
Newsjacking? What's that?
It's basically injecting your ideas into breaking news stories to get media coverage, raise awareness.
So it's like piggybacking on the news cycle.
Yeah.
But it sounds a bit risky.
It can be if it's not done well. Mitch emphasizes the importance of doing it authentically, ethically.
Not just trying to exploit a tragedy for your own gain.
Right. And he also highlights the importance of building relationships with journalists.
So you're not just some random person trying to get your 15 minutes of fame.
Exactly. You're a trusted source, someone they can rely on for insights and commentary.
Now, Mitch dives deep into negotiation, emphasizing that it's a skill everyone needs, not just business people.
Right. Whether you're negotiating a salary, a contract, or even just where to go for dinner.
It's about finding solutions that work for everyone involved.
And he emphasizes that it's not about winning at all costs.
It's about finding common ground, building relationships.
Exactly.
And he connects this to the importance of setting boundaries.
Yeah.
Saying no to protect your time, your energy, your well-being.
Right. It's about recognizing that you can't please everyone all the time.
And that it's okay to prioritize your own needs.
And then there's passion. Mitch is a big believer in the power of passion. He says it's the fuel that drives success.
But it needs direction, right?
Right. Passion without a plan is just, well, it's just wasted energy.
So you need to channel that passion into purposeful pursuits, set goals, take action.
And he connects this to the importance of persistence, the grit to keep going, even when things get tough.
Because let's face it, success doesn't happen overnight. There are going to be setbacks, challenges.
And that's where persistence comes in. It's about not giving up on your dreams, even when it feels like the whole world is against you.
And then there's perspective, the importance of stepping back, seeing the bigger picture.
Because sometimes we get so caught up in the day-to-day grind that we lose sight of what really matters.
And that's where perspective comes in. It helps us make better decisions, prioritize our efforts, and stay focused on our long-term goals.
Now, this is interesting. Mitch shares his 5-step persuasion playbook, but he emphasizes that it's not about manipulation or trickery.
It's about guiding people from doubt to belief, helping them see the value in your ideas, your proposals.
Exactly. And he gives a great example from his own life. He talks about this guy, Mike the Milkman, who taught him a valuable lesson about prioritizing the things that truly matter.
Health, family, professional goals.
And he challenges readers to ask themselves 3 questions.
Oh, yeah.
Will this hurt my health? Will it steal time from my family? Does it align with my goals? If the answer to any of those questions is yes, then it's probably not worth doing.
Those are great questions to ask yourself, and they can apply to so many different areas of life.
Right. Whether you're considering a new job, a new relationship, or even just how you spend your free time, those questions can help you stay focused on what really matters.
Now, Mitch is all about being proactive, taking charge of your life, your career, your destiny.
He says it's about steering the ship, not just drifting with the current.
And he connects this to overcoming procrastination, breaking tasks down into smaller, more manageable chunks, setting deadlines, celebrating progress.
It's about taking action, even when you don't feel like it, because momentum breeds motivation.
He also talks about promoting yourself authentically, letting your work and client stories speak for you.
It's about highlighting the value you provide rather than resorting to bragging or self-promotion.
And he connects this to the power of asking the right questions.
Curiosity can unlock perspectives and create opportunities that you might never have imagined otherwise.
It's about approaching conversations with a genuine desire to learn and understand, rather than just trying to prove yourself right.
All right.
Now, this is something I think a lot of people might overlook. Mitch talks about the importance of receptionists and front desk staff.
Oh, yeah. He says they're more than just gatekeepers. They're influencers.
They're often the first point of contact for clients or customers,
Yeah.
and their impressions can make a big difference.
He encourages us to treat them with respect, appreciate their work, and recognize the valuable role they play in any organization.
And he connects this to the importance of resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks.
Because let's face it, things don't always go as planned.
We all face challenges, disappointments, failures.
But it's how we respond to those setbacks that defines us.
And Mitch reminds us that resilience is a skill.
It's something you can develop, strengthen through practice and perseverance.
And he also talks about the power of reframing, shifting our perspective to see opportunities where others see obstacles.
He introduces a 3-step process for handling negativity.
Deflect, reflect, and select.
It's a practical tool for staying grounded and making intentional choices, even in the face of adversity.
And he emphasizes that rejection is often redirection, pushing us toward a path that's better suited for our skills, our goals, our values.
It's about trusting that things happen for a reason, even when we don't understand it at the time.
You know, one thing that really struck me was how Mitch emphasizes the importance of relationships. He talks about how genuine connections built on trust, respect, and mutual benefit can be more valuable than any material possession or professional accomplishment. It's about recognizing that people are our greatest assets and that investing in those relationships can pay dividends for years to come.
He stresses that those kinds of relationships can open doors, create opportunities, and provide support when you need it most. And he connects this to the importance of reputation, our most valuable asset, built on trust, integrity, and consistent actions.
He reminds us that reputation is something we cultivate over time, and that protecting it is an ongoing process of making choices that align with our values and our commitment to excellence.
He also emphasizes that finding work that feels rewarding, even before retirement, can lead to a more fulfilling life.
It's about pursuing our passions, exploring our interests, and finding work that aligns with our values and brings us a sense of purpose and fulfillment.
He talks about the power of silence in communication.
He highlights how silence can create space for reflection, build trust, and allow for more authentic and impactful conversations.
It's about resisting the urge to fill every silence with words, recognizing that sometimes the most powerful messages are conveyed through quiet presence and attentive listening.
It's about recognizing that our differences are our strengths, and that what sets us apart is often what makes us most valuable.
He encourages us to own what makes us different, to let our authenticity shine through, and to resist that pressure to conform.
To stand out, be yourself, and let your unique qualities shine.
He emphasizes that when we stop trying to fit in, well, we start standing out.
And that's where the magic happens, right?
That's where the real opportunities are.
And he talks about Mitch's focus on leading with value in every interaction.
It's about going beyond those transactional exchanges, just focusing on what you can get.
It's about giving back, contributing something meaningful.
Whether it's sharing your expertise, offering a helping hand, or just being a good listener.
It's about making a positive impact on the people around you.
He reminds us that the more we focus on giving value, the more we attract it back into our own lives.
So it's a win-win situation, really.
Absolutely.
And sometimes those smallest gestures of kindness, they can have the biggest impact.
Creating those ripples of positivity that extend far beyond our immediate circle.
He also emphasizes the importance of respecting time, both our own and that of others.
It's about recognizing that time is a precious commodity.
And treating it with respect shows professionalism and courtesy.
He talks about being punctual, honoring commitments, and making the most of the time we have.
He connects this to the winning mindset.
Aiming for victory while maintaining integrity and respect for others.
It's about how we win, not just whether we win.
Exactly.
And he emphasizes that a strong work ethic is key. Showing up consistently, even when it's tough.
He connects this back to Mitch's own background. His accomplishments as a lawyer, mediator, speaker, it's evident in everything he does.
It's about putting in the effort, doing the work, even when nobody's watching.
That's what sets you apart.
And he reminds us that building a strong work ethic, well, it takes time and effort.
It's about establishing good habits, setting realistic goals,
and celebrating those small wins along the way.
It's about finding joy in the process, recognizing that hard work can be challenging, but also very rewarding.
Jed also talks about the power of saying nothing, emphasizing that sometimes silence can be more powerful than words.
He encourages us to embrace those moments of quiet reflection.
To listen attentively, allow space for others to share their thoughts and feelings.
Without interruption.
It's about creating space for deeper thinking, more meaningful connections.
And a greater sense of peace and presence in our lives.
And he emphasizes the importance of keeping things simple, streamlining our processes, eliminating unnecessary steps.
Focusing on the essentials.
It's about creating space for clarity, creativity,
connection,
recognizing that simplicity can be a powerful tool for achieving our goals.
And living a more fulfilling life.
And he reminds us about the simple power of a smile.
It's a universal language of kindness, warmth, connection.
It can have a profound impact on our interactions with others.
He encourages us to smile genuinely, share our warmth, our positivity with the world,
and to recognize that even a simple smile can brighten someone's day.
And create a more positive, harmonious environment.
And with that, we come to the end of our deep dive into Mitch Jackson's power moves.
What a journey it's been.
Through the trenches of business and life.
It's packed with actionable advice, inspiring stories.
Those aha moments that can shift your perspective and propel you forward.
Mitch has created something truly special.
A guide that not only helps you navigate the challenges of business, but also empowers you to create a life that's both successful and fulfilling.
So if you're ready to level up your game, embrace bold thinking, and create a life that's aligned with your values, I highly recommend picking up Power Moves.
And remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. Enjoy the ride, embrace those challenges, celebrate those victories.
And never stop learning, growing, and evolving.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
We'll catch you next time.